Hey, PopHearts TV, this is Heather here, and I am with Lauren Davidson.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm so excited to chat with you today because we are going to be premiering your new single that's coming out tomorrow.
Yay.
It actually will be today when we do release this, so everyone can go and listen to it.
So excited.
I want to get into how you got into music. What age, who got you into it, what made you go into music?
Yeah, so actually I've been in music my whole life. My dad was a singer-songwriter, and he used to play guitar and piano around the house, and I grew up loving to sing and just loving music. But I didn't start songwriting until about 6 or 7 years ago. I was singing in a band in New York City as like a side job, and then started having all these ideas of my own and was like, let me sit down. I actually went to my dad and was like, I have these ideas. They might be good. They might be horrible, but let's just try it. Next thing I knew, I had 1 song, 4 songs, 10 songs. And I just kind of loved sharing my own songs with people and my stories, and kind of, took on that role as songwriter later in life, which was kind of cool.
That's awesome. And you spoke about New York, and you kind of described your sound as blending New York City vibes with the rich tones of contemporary country vibes. Explain to people what that is exactly.
Yeah, so I loved country music. I loved the stories that people were telling in country music, and how the instruments were all these really organic guitars and banjos and just like organic musicians and instruments. And as pop music kind of changed, when I first decided to kind of like write my own music, I was like, I really don't think I should be a country artist. I'm from New York City. I didn't grow up listening to country music. It felt a little like unauthentic to me. And all these things kept pulling me into that direction, that I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it my way. So again, the one thing I love about it is the storytelling, but I'm just telling the stories of what I experienced. I was born in Brooklyn, New York. I grew up in Freehold, New Jersey, which is about an hour south of Manhattan. And I live in New York City now. So I kind of just like to fuse the storytelling, which is the like underlying characteristic of country music, with telling stories from where I actually live and the things I've actually experienced, instead of like dirt roads and pickup trucks and a lot of things that were so for so long, they were like the typical country music themes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, because that wouldn't be authentic to you if you're growing up in Brooklyn and New Jersey.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I didn't have a pickup truck, and, I used to come to New York City all the time and walk the city streets, and I always wanted to live here. And obviously city life is just so different. And even when I first started writing songs, I hadn't even been to Nashville yet. I go quite frequently now, but I hadn't even been there when I was writing music. I was just writing music because I wanted to write music, and I was trying to find a voice and have something. I had something I wanted to say. But for me, even though musically it fits under that country music umbrella, I just wanted my stories to be my own.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's wonderful. I love that you're able to make it your own, because your new song that's premiering is called Going Nowhere.
Yay.
So excited. It's your 4th song off of the Love Aint Fair EP.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about this song. It was written by you and Tommy Cole. So is this inspired by anything in real life? What was the songwriting process?
Yeah, so it's actually funny. So I actually wrote this song with Tommy. I just looked it up. It was like January of 2018. So it's like over 2 years ago. It's the very first song that we wrote together. And he came up the stairs, and we're friends. So we're just kind of like talking, and he had the idea, which is our hook line, that out of nowhere, we were going nowhere. And I was like, oh my God, like, I've been there before. I've been on both sides of that story. Yeah. And started talking to him about like my past experiences. And then he started talking to me about, his past relationships and his past experiences. And the story of the song itself was basically us kind of combining both of our experiences, being on both sides of that situation. But the thing with like heartbreak and relationships is that these things happen over and over again. They're cycles. Something that you could have experienced 5 years ago, you can experience again, tomorrow, or, and I think that that's the cool and interesting thing about that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And with the song, or with the EP being called Love Aint Fair, and that being the very first song, Did this kind of spearhead where the direction of the EP was going to go then?
So it's actually funny. So when I sat down, so I started working on this project around this time, maybe a little bit earlier in September of last year, just like very quietly, because I was touring a lot, I was playing a lot of shows, and it was like anytime that I was home and had like a random free day, I was going into the studio and kind of working on this music. So what I did basically was take all of the songs that I had written, over the course of that year or so, and had like a little listening party with my team, and kind of picked 5 songs that were our favorites that we thought we should, put on this project. And all of them except for one had this like untraditional love song theme. And I didn't even realize it until after. And I was trying to come up with a name and trying to figure out what order to put the songs in and to record them and release them. And I was like, all of these songs have this theme that like love isn't fair. Like love is many things, but it's not fair. And I always knew I wanted to release Love Aint Fair on Valentine's Day as that kind of just like to make light of this holiday. You don't want anyone to feel bad on Valentine's Day if you're single, and you want people to enjoy it if they're not single in a relationship. But I was like, this would be really fun to release on Valentine's Day. And so I took one song off of this EP that didn't really fit that theme, and wasn't sure what that for me, it was going to be the 5th and final song. And I actually started working on Going Nowhere last year. We wanted to release it last year. We tracked drums in Nashville, and then it just sat on a shelf. And so when I was trying to figure out what this song, the last, the 4th, ends up being the 4th song, that I'm releasing instead of the 5th, but what this last song on this project should be, I was like, oh my gosh, we have Going Nowhere. It's been sitting on a shelf. I'm playing it at shows. People love it. Like there's no reason why this song should not be released. And so because we did so much of the legwork before COVID hit, it was really easy to finish it and get it out to everybody. And I'm so excited about that.
Yeah. So you do have 5 songs though.
I do. There's one more still. Yeah. The cool thing is though, is that I was kind of keeping these songs secret. So like I play a lot of shows, and I like to like play songs before they're released, just because when you get excited about a song, you want to share it with people. Yeah. But I wanted to kind of keep these songs a secret until I release them and then start playing them. And of course, I only got to play the one song live for people, and then everything got canceled. But it was really cool. This is the only song that I've played out and that people actually know. So nobody even has ever heard this last song. No one ever heard the last song. So it's actually kind of cool from that perspective too, to just be like, here's a song you haven't heard, and kind of see how people react to it. But they're all songs that I connect to for different reasons. And that's obviously very important to me, to be able to share a piece of myself with anybody who wants to listen.
Absolutely. Yeah. Is there some way that you kind of are able to do this songwriting process or storytelling? Do you kind of take notes as you go throughout the day, if like something comes to mind and then you go in the studio later?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, every song comes from somewhere different. Sometimes it is like something that I'm like, I just need to talk about this, and then we write it. Or it's like, I had this idea that I wrote down, whether it be like a lyric or a line, or like an actual melody in a voice memo. So all of these songs have kind of come from different places, which is cool. But I definitely have like a very packed phone with a lot of like notes. It's just anything that speaks to me and moves me, makes me feel something. Even if it ends up being like a really bad idea for a song, I write it down, because you never want to forget it. Right. So like I take screenshots of things all the time, or like we'll jot something down, or I'll sing like a random melody. And it's cool to see which pieces of those end up in songs and which ones you're just like, oh, why did I save this? Delete, when you kind of clean stuff out. And then a lot of songs will just come from being in the room with somebody, we're just like, what are you feeling today? What are you feeling today? And next thing you know, you have a song.
You have a song. I love it. You mentioned earlier that your dad was also in the music business, and you and him co-founded the Urban Country Jam. Talk about that. How did that come about? How did you guys decide to come up with this?
Yeah, so he's actually not in the music business now, except for, writing songs with me and producing this event. But in New York City specifically, places to perform and the camaraderie of having an event is very difficult, or it's like few and far between, just because, you know, New York is so eclectic, both musically and not musically. So the idea behind Urban Country Jam was to create a like space for country music artists, for emerging country music artists. And also, a lot of times when you're playing shows as an emerging artist, you know, you have to sell tickets and you get a portion of the ticket or you get a portion of the door. And so this was a way to kind of put money back into these artists' pockets for their hard work and their time and their talent. Urban Country Jam is supposed to happen in live music venues. We did the first one at the Cutting Room in New York City back in February, and kind of before everything shut down, and we sold out the Cutting Room, which was amazing. And 100% of that ticket sales, after you pay a venue for being able to, you know, play a show there and for marketing and promotion, all that money goes towards the artists involved. So it ends up being a way for them to support their music as well, which is really cool. And also the idea that on any given night that there's an Urban Country Jam, there's, you know, 3 to 5 artists playing that you don't even have to know who they are, but you know you're going to get a really good show. I met a bunch of people, and I was surprised because I thought, you know, we would know everyone in the room. A bunch of people who came out to the first event, and they were just like, we just like country music, and we decided to come out tonight. Like, they didn't even know any of the artists involved. So, and I thought that that was such a cool thing. But because of COVID, we moved Urban Country Jam into this virtual space. So we did 2 already, one in May and one in June, that were just kind of free in place of playing shows. And then I started this crowdfunding campaign to basically try and raise money so that I could pay all the artists involved. So we're doing the first crowdfunded Urban Country Jam in this virtual world, October 10th. So that's next Saturday. Okay. Yeah, so soon. And then hopefully, I think we've raised enough money to have another one, or we're close to enough money to raise another one. It's an ongoing campaign. And the idea behind it is to, you know, donate every little bit you can, $5, $10, like buying a concert ticket. Right. This money goes straight to the artists for their time. You know, everyone's hurting right now, but artists really are hurting, and emerging artists make all of their money from touring. And that just, you know, isn't happening right now. So it was kind of a way to give back to artists for their time and talent, and also to have an organized event where, you know, like artists are sharing space, which is cool.
Absolutely. Where can people go to find that information to either donate to the Crowdfire or to watch the show?
Yeah, so everything is also on my social medias, which is laurendavidsonmusic.com or Lauren Davidson Music on Instagram and Facebook. There's also an Urban Country Jam Instagram, which is just at Urban Country Jam, and the links are there. I post it every few days just to kind of, you know, let people know what's going on, and it's something that's really important to me, and I hope that we can keep it going.
Absolutely.
And we will keep it going too, live. Yes. When we can get back into concert venues, we will be there. Don't you worry.
Yeah. Speaking of concert venues, you have actually performed at huge venues like Madison Square Garden, which is like major. People like dream about performing there. What was that like, and what's it been like being able to perform with like huge, you know, acts?
Honestly, it's so awesome. It's like one of those things that just like, I can't get over it. Like, it's so crazy to me. I actually sang the national anthem at Madison Square Garden last year. And then this year I got asked to come back, and I got to sing 3 of my own original songs, which was like so incredible. Like in New York, you know, the middle of New York City, the middle of Madison Square Garden, to like a sold out crowd, being able to share music that I have written and released. It was just so cool. And being able to open for artists is just kind of like a master class in performing, you know, getting to see how artists run their show and run their team, and getting to hang backstage and network. It is so cool. And to see fans and meet new fans, you know, to meet fans of the artists that you're playing shows with, it's unlike anything else. It's a really cool experience.
Yeah. If there was anyone that you could go on tour with, who would you love to go with?
I have so many people, but like it's no secret that I'm like obsessed with Grace Potter. Yeah. And like getting to open for her, and especially getting to tour with her, would just be like, oh, please.
Dream come true.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you could have like a dream lineup of like you and say like 4 other people, who would you pick?
Me, Grace Potter, Maren Morris, Stevie Nicks, I mean, that's 4. So that's good.
Bring out the girl power right there.
I know, honestly. So I've always been like a huge fan of like female voices. I just always have been. Like my favorite artists have always been females. Not that I don't love males,
right.
Love them. They're amazing. But I think that these women are such powerhouses and I'm just in awe of them.
Yeah. I love right now too, that the country music is just like bringing them all together, like showcasing all these female powerhouses.
Yeah,
right now,
I mean, women are the underdogs in, you know, any industry, but especially in country music. So it's really cool to like see them band together and to kind of see how they're paving the way for someone like me, and hope to kind of band with them and be a part of that at some point.
Absolutely.
Or to be a part of it in my own way.
Yes, yes. Well, we are so excited to be able to premiere your single today. And where can everybody find you on social media one more time?
Yeah, so LaurenDavidsonMusic.com, Lauren Davidson Music on Instagram and Facebook. And I am on Twitter. It's Lauren Da Music, D-A Music. And then all of my music that's released, including my new single, Going Nowhere, is on my website or on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to your music. It's there. You can find it.
Perfect. Well, it's been so nice chatting with you today.
Yes, you too.
Thank you so much, and can't wait to download your music.
Yay, thank you.
Thank you.